Hey everyone, it's Imran from Options Insight, back with your macro options spotlight.
Remember, like, subscribe, comment. We want to get this all over the place.
Okay, so stocks pulled back pretty hard yesterday. Obviously, we had a big squeeze into the weekend, but that needed to be unwound a little bit. So we saw a reversal triggered by some hot Spanish CPI data. So stocks didn't really like that. Yields went a bit higher. And obviously, we've got FOMC coming up on Wednesday. So the markets are a bit more nervous about that and maybe wanting to square the books a little bit. So that's what we're putting it down to. China also had a tough day as people came back from Lunar New Year. Stocks knee-jerk higher and then got sold. China finishing down about 4%. So pretty brutal day there. But we do think the reopening story continues. Maybe it got a bit frothy in the short term, but there'll be more money coming towards Chinese assets, we think, over the medium term. So we think that market is underpinned. And then, interestingly though, there were PMIs out of China that were stronger than expected, and yet it didn't help it rally, right? It continued to sell off the Asia space in general. So just shows you there's probably a little bit of a weaker long positioning trapped that needs to kind of sort itself out. And then maybe the market can go back to this sort of more medium-term trend that we do believe is probably still higher. In commodities, though, they did continue to remain heavy. We've been anticipating and looking for a pullback in metals. Seems like we're getting it, but it's not particularly violent just yet. It's just kind of taking some of that froth out of the metals. But uranium actually is outperforming again, was up 4% last week and managed to eke out a small gain yesterday as well. Implied vols rebounding. So we see US indices up about 2 vol points. So kind of having a nice bounce from VIX near the 18 level. VIX has now reclaimed the 20 level. European vols not quite as interested. They were up, but not by as much. And then China vols up quite strong, obviously on a 4% down day. That will kind of happen. Commodity vols were also higher, but really, if we hone in on the energy complex, oil, nat gas, uranium, those were the ones that were really popping. The rest of the space was just a bit of a grind higher. Carry-wise, remaining positive as these higher vols obviously give you more theta to earn, and unless the realized materially ticks up, it kind of translates itself to positive carry. So seeing reasonable positive carry across Europe still there. And even on the sell-off, right? You look at these sigma moves on the sell-off, they're in the kind of 1 to 1 and a bit type of a standard deviation for the day. So we're not seeing 2-3 sigma moves that kind of really will take the realized vol materially higher and see those carry numbers flip negative. And then looking at carry in the commodity space, still a big one on copper, big one on oil, but we are starting to see quite a bit more juice coming back in precious metals as well, which we haven't seen before. Okay, and then skew-wise, finding a bit of a bid in skew, S&P skew bouncing half a vol, not seeing the same thing translate to NASDAQ and Russell though, which was interesting, but then skew in Europe and Asia is also pretty firm. So starting to see maybe a bit of kind of need for protection coming back as people, added a bit of length, rode that rally in the first few weeks of the year. And as we're coming to the close of January, some people are saying, well, 8 to 10% gain in the first month of the year, I might have been happy with that for the whole year. So I'd be mad not to protect a bit of these gains. And that's what I think we're seeing. Okay, moving on. If we look at the dollar. So Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan have been putting some charts out there talking about the dollar. So the first one shows that this type of decline in the dollar over a 12-week period is pretty rare and pretty violent. And if we look at previous times when it's done such a dramatic move, you do tend to get some sort of reflexive bounce of reasonable magnitude, right? So looking at these kind of circles here, it does tend to swing back higher. So don't be surprised if we get some sort of reaction in the dollar that kind of at least gets us back towards that 0 level, right? That's kind of what they're saying. Also, if you look at positioning, dollar positioning last year was long for most of the year. It was the best trade in town. Obviously, that's flipped quite dramatically, quite a material move in positioning, and it's now short dollars. So there seems to be a consensus now to be short dollars. Everyone thinks the dollar's topped and the positioning has reflected that, which means that might be in a weak spot right now. If the Fed were to talk tough about what they're going to do with rates and the market believed them, the dollar could stage a more material bounce, because up till now it's found support at 102, but it hasn't really managed to get going yet. Now we do anticipate some volatility. Obviously we've got FOMC, we've got non-farm payrolls. These are definitely things that can move the dollar. FX markets, vols absolute levels of FX markets, vols aren't too high. So we think HYG, FX vols, these sort of things, playing them from the long side, going into these numbers is probably a good trade. I wouldn't really want to be short them. In terms of equity vol, though, I do think the reset, the bounce that we're getting in VIX to 20 could well be a fade, and picking up some VIX puts or something like that for February ahead of the FOMC tomorrow may be the way forward. But I'll do a bit more analysis on that tomorrow and decide if that's the way to go, basically. Anyway, what else are we looking at? So Snap earnings as well tonight. Give us an early read on the online advertising space. Also got Caterpillar and some other earnings out. But in general, the big cap tech names are later on in the week on Thursday. So they're gonna kind of determine the fate of the Nasdaq, I guess. But for now, often Snap gives us a bit of a read on Facebook or Meta. So kind of just look out for that. All right, so sticking with this kind of dollar theme. So if you think the dollar is going to bounce, then does that mean it's time to fade the euro? I mentioned, obviously, the dollar's right for a bounce if Powell does give this hawkish message. But the thing is, next day we've got the ECB meeting. And we've been hearing more and more hawkish chatter out the ECB members. So they're talking tough as well. So they could just counteract whatever Powell says. So the euro is a tricky spot right now. It looks expensive up at 108.5, 109. You want to sell it, but you know that these guys want to really restore some credibility. And the only way they're going to do that is by surprising the market on hikes. And with terminal rates in Europe at 1.5% versus US at 5%, they've got a lot of work to do to kind of convince the market that they're going to go into restrictive and they're going to stay there. So that's the only not so clear thing about selling the euro. Now CTA positioning in euro has obviously got a lot longer. So there is some fragility there in positioning. And then you look at these city economic surprise indices and you compare Europe versus US. Well, Europe has been outperforming massively, which is why this orange line has been trading up for months. But now it's started to top. So we're starting to see it roll over. Previous times where we've seen it roll over, what has happened to the euro? The euro has gone down. So euro at a local top should really track if these indices have topped, if the relative value between the European city surprise index and the US one, if it does roll over, often the euro follows that down. So those are the sort of the rationales as to why you might want to be putting on bearish euro trades. But like I said, there is upside risk if the ECB do follow through and surprise on the hiking side. So what do you do trade-wise? So I think European equities denominated in US dollars are potentially a better way to play the same view, okay? So if you were to get a bounce in the dollar and a sell-off in euro, and the bounce in the dollar was coupled with a risk asset sell-off like it generally tends to be, then you would get all equity markets lower, you'd get euro lower, and you'd get this FES ETF, which is the Euro stocks denominated in dollars, would get battered, basically, right? Because you'd have euro lower and stocks lower in Europe, which is a double whammy for this thing. So I actually think playing the short side on this using put options is a better way to express that view, that you're just bearish sort of Europe in general, and whether it's the currency or the stocks or both. And this kind of protects you a little bit from the scenario that the ECB comes out with a massive upside surprise on rates, because what's that going to do to European stocks? European stocks are going to not appreciate an ECB that's coming out guns blazing, basically, right? So whilst you might get a pop in euro dollar, you might get a sell-off in European stocks. And this FES ETF would actually drip lower potentially, depending on the magnitude of the moves. So I like that way of thinking about it. All right, I'm off tomorrow. There'll be no spotlight tomorrow, so I'll catch you guys on Thursday. Thanks a lot.